A very good morning to everybody tuning in to Live at the Waterhole. My name's Chad Hobson, and I'm going to be your naturalist for the morning. I do hope everybody is having a lovely Wednesday morning so far, and hopefully it's just going to get better as we tune into Live at the Waterhole. Does seem like it is a beautiful day where we are starting out here at Ukuguyo in Namibia, where we've got a small herd of zebra and some springbok off on the right hand side of the screen. And just a reminder to everybody that this is a live and interactive show, so please do send through your questions and comments. If you would like to subscribe, you can do so on the WildEarth website. Or if you would like to join the conversation, you can do so on X using the hashtag WildEarth. I'll be happy to interact with you and answer any questions you might have safari related. Mama Kim, good morning to you. Thanks very much for tuning in. I hope we're going to have an excellent show this morning. It is quite a overcast day in Johannesburg, but looking there in Namibia, looks like it's a beautiful day. Not too many clouds in the sky, nice and sunny. I'm sure a little bit later on the sun will come out. On that note, why don't we have a look at all the other locations and what's happening in the weather today? It does seem like it is a little bit overcast throughout South Africa today. Just looking at Juma, it also seems like it's overcast. So, I mean, overcast weather when you are out in the African bush is quite a nice thing. The animals sometimes stay a little bit more active throughout the day if it is quite overcast and not too hot. So maybe we'll have some luck with some interesting animals coming down to the water to drink. Needs Beer is saying hello from Calgary, Canada. I'm sure the weather is very, very different in Canada at the moment compared to what it is in South Africa. Tristan, you asking what is the best weather for a safari? I think different people might have different answers, but personally, I would say probably like overcast, cool weather. Just like I was saying a little bit earlier, that the chances of the cats or predators staying a little bit more active for longer periods of time is quite high. The chance is quite high. Um, Also, you're in a open safari vehicle, so there's no roof. So if does get quite hot quite quickly, you often will like return back to camp just because it's quite unpleasant to be out in the baking African sun. But also, I mean, the safari, even in summertime, you leave bright and early. You'll leave the lodge most likely somewhere around 5 o'clock, and then return probably 9:30, 10 o'clock, just because it is starting to get quite hot. And then winter time, because the sun's also coming up a little bit later, you'll leave later. So you might leave maybe 6:30 or so, and then because it stays cooler longer, you'll maybe return at 11. So it really just depends. But personally, my favorite is the winter time, just because it's a lot cooler. And I mean, you can often find animals and they're still sleeping because it's quite cold. And once the sun breaks through, then they do start to become a little bit more active, maybe move out into the open to just warm up a little bit. Candice, you're asking if does a place like Namibia experience cold winters? They do indeed. Um, Namibia is a place where in summertime it can get to like 45 degrees Celsius, and in wintertime in some places it does get to the minuses. So yeah, it's one extreme to the next. The nice thing about the Namibia is the winter times during the day it can be quite nice, quite pleasant, like somewhere around like 20 degrees Celsius, maybe just less, 18 to 20. So if you are out sitting in the sun, it can be very, very pleasant. It's also quite nice to just start the morning off uh, enjoying the sounds of nature. You can watch as the springbuck come and go from the water, but also just taking in the sounds. Nice peaceful way to start your morning. There's also quite a lot of Egyptian geese and on the edge of this waterhole here. Luna, you're asking are the Egyptian geese the only water birds that we'll get here? Um, no, so you will get different other water birds that you might see around um, different parts of Etosha. Just also when there's not too much water around, you don't find too many of those wading birds. Um, just the food source and food availability isn't the greatest, so they do fly quite far distances in order to go um, find other food sources. So maybe once there's been a lot of rain, then you might find a couple more of those waders that might be wading around here. So I think we're going to leave these Egyptian geese here at Okagoyo. Why don't we head over to Jamala and see what's come down? That elephant was really coming in quite hot to the water. You saw all the dust. Maybe it's the first drink for these elephants this morning, and that's why they're quite excited. Quite a few elephants that have now come down. I was going to say I thought it was just some elephant bulls, but it does seem like there's a youngster there. I'm sure it's a small little family group of elephants that has come down to the water. Patsis McGargan, you're saying hello from Australia. Good morning to you. Or I think it might be afternoon in Australia, if I'm not mistaken. Seems like all these elephants are happy to share the water this morning. Sometimes when you find that there's only elephant bulls, they're not really too happy to be sharing. They'll take it all for themselves, and the others will just stand around waiting for their turn to have a drink. Well, it seems like there's lots of youngsters coming to join us now. Always nice to see big herds of elephants coming down to the water. I think we'll just sit back, relax, and enjoy watching these elephants drink.
is on safari. Now remember, this is live and interactive, so we'd love to hear from you.
To be having these incredible experiences in this wild underwater forest.
It was just one of those things which I don't think I'll ever see again in my life.
Thanks for joining us on our sunrise safari.
Not too sure today is going to be a day for these elephants to go swim. But in saying that, the reserve I used to work on, northern KwaZulu-Natal, whenever it was overcast or raining, it was incredible. The elephants there would always swim in that type of weather. But then other places, I haven't seen that before, and I don't know. And over the 5 years that I was there, I was always a little bit, my mind always was all over the place thinking, why on earth are they swimming during the times when it's cooler? And when it's hotter, they just come down, they drink, they throw water themselves, and then they move off. You can see quite a lot of ripples on the right-hand side. I don't know if we can maybe zoom out just a little bit and see what's happening there. I don't know. Oh, it's more elephants coming to drink. Ollie B, and you're saying that that baby Illy probably face planted somewhere in the middle of the mob. Also, I was just thinking that, and I think because it's so much smaller than the rest of them, when the other elephants are drinking, the water from the other elephants' trunks and mouths is falling onto it. So that's why it's also getting so drenched. There's nothing cuter than a baby elephant. You can see that baby elephant had his trunk up, was sniffing around. And sometimes I think to myself that it might be the first time that that baby elephant might be smelling something that might have been down to the waterhole. And just picking up all interesting scents around the water. And also there is a lodge close by, so might be picking up also the different smells from that lodge. Maybe they're cooking a beautiful buffet breakfast. That's what that elephant's picking up. Don't think there's going to be any more space for any more elephant. Just watching that elephant come out of the whole group there trying to find some more space. I was just going to say that there's not too much space there for any more elephants. I think if there are more elephants that come down to drink, they're going to have to wait their turn, I think. Dan from the UK, thank you very much. Saying good morning, Chad. Lovely to hear your comments as always. It's only my pleasure. I'm glad you are enjoying my comments on Live at the Waterhole. It's always good to not just focus on what you have down at the water. You always need to zoom out a little bit and just have a quick look around, because you never know what's gonna be down at the waterhole. Sometimes you might be focusing on the other side of the water where maybe a herd of elephants is drinking, and close by there could be a leopard that's come down to have a drink. So in the bush, you've always got to be very aware of what's happening around you. Also, even while you're sitting at a waterhole watching something, you need to keep a listen out. A lot of the time, you can find different animals or predators from different animal calls or alarm calls. So something like a vervet monkey will make an alarm call at a lion or a leopard or a cheetah, and that can often then give away the position of that leopard, and it'll give you a better indication of where you can then go look for that leopard. Because often if they are getting alarm called out, it's not often that they'll just sit in that same spot. They've now been seen, and they want to try and get out of the area. They want to get away from where that vervet monkey is, to then have the potential to maybe hunt or move into a different area. How cute is that baby elephant on the left hand side there suckling from its mother? I was going to say, it almost looked like the youngster was trying to suckle with its trunk, but young elephants, they're unable to use that trunk of theirs like a bigger elephant. And so when the youngsters do suckle, they'll actually just latch their mouth straight onto the mammary gland. and they'll then suckle like that. It almost seems like these elephants today are very cool, calm, and collected. Like they're not fighting one another for water. They're all happy to just stand around and wait their turn. I think also it might have to do somewhat with the weather, because you can imagine just standing out in the blazing hot sun waiting for water to cool off might not be the greatest thing. But on an overcast day, I think they're just happy to be relaxing out in the open.
Out in the wild, life moves fast. To capture the action, you've got to be in the right spot at the wrong time. Now, incredible animal behavior, selected from amazing amateur and professional footage, to reveal the secret lives of animals in motion. This is raw nature, caught in the act.
You just zoomed out a little bit from these elephants just to have a different perspective of the water and just to allow us to see if there's anything else that might be coming down to the water. I mean, generally here at Jamala, there's quite a lot of wildebeest and zebras would come down to drink, but it seems like today it's only these elephants, which I'm not complaining about because elephants are always entertaining to watch. And just a reminder to everybody that this is a live and interactive show, so please do continue sending through your questions and comments. If you would like to subscribe, you can do so on the WildEarth website, or if you would like to join the conversation, you can do so on X using the hashtag WildEarth. So I was just talking about lots of zebras and wildebeest coming down to drink normally. And here is a small little herd of zebras coming down to drink. So maybe they were just waiting for me to cue them to come to the water. Next, I'll be speaking about leopards, lions, wild dogs, and cheetah coming to drink here at Jamala. Nice big dazzle of zebras that's come down to join us with two quite young foals. These elephants here at the bottom of the screen almost look like they're just forming part of the rocks, not even moving too much. Very interesting when those zebras come down to the water to drink. Have a look at the two at the back there. You can see that the youngsters are quite wary. But also, it looks like it could be a male, the one just to the right of the two youngsters. And he's almost making sure that there's no potential threat that might be around the water while the others are drinking. And it literally looks like they're taking turns.
If you are a driven nature enthusiast with a background in communications, then this message is for you. WildEarth is calling for volunteers to moderate our web and social media chat platforms during our live broadcasts. Do you keep up with the latest trends on social media? Do you have quick fingers and a sharp eye? Then we're looking for you. To apply, email your CV to us at jobs@wildearth.tv. Join the WildEarth team today. WildEarth, connecting with nature.
seems like the elephants have now decided to move off. I think they're going to go make the most of the cooler weather and maybe go into the thicker areas and spend the afternoon feeding. Have a look at this female closest to the camera. You see how her tail's up and quite stiff? Oh, no, it's often that will happen if elephants are unhappy or they're uncertain of whatever is going on. So maybe she smelt one of those other elephants and just took some time to see what it was or smell what it was. And now she seems like she's happy again. So have a look how these three elephants moved away from the water. It looks like it's a younger elephant bull that's coming down now to drink. I think especially with having a youngster there, she didn't really want to be around when that other elephant came in. with two younger bulls having a push and shove around, just seeing who's the bigger and stronger one. And I mean, you saw there it was nothing too serious, but they're just getting that mutual respect between the two of them. You might find somewhere along the line in the future that they might even join up and become part of the same little bachelor herd. And a lot of people always ask what in the bachelor herd if there is one elephant that will sort of lead the group and things like that. And it is often the older one that will lead the group. But they all have a mutual respect for one another. I mean, the bigger you are, the more respect you're sort of going to get. And so the younger ones will almost just follow the older ones wherever they do move. You can see those elephants have settled there below that sycamore fig tree. We're just going to have a nice little scan around the water here at Jamala. Oh, another elephant. I think it's the same one that had that little push around with the other elephant bull. Kim Vostino is saying good evening. It's 6 p.m. in the Philippines. And good evening to you, Kim. Thanks very much for tuning in and watching live at the Waterhole.
Our march to freedom is irreversible. We raise our hands and we say, we will be free! mass of South Africans denied their humanity.
One lonely elephant just enjoying the waterhole to himself. Must actually be quite nice to be the only one around the water, not having to fight or wait your turn. Now, one elephant that we had now seems to have disappeared away from the waterhole. Yeah, maybe it's worth just doing a little bit of a scan around and see. Maybe this elephant bull's most likely gonna follow the scent of the rest of the elephants that have moved off from the waterhole. Because you'll often find, I mean, elephants that are of an age, looking at him probably somewhere around 18 years old, you'll find that the matriarch will often kick them out because the testosterone is running through their veins and they start to cause a bit of nonsense within the herd. But they're also not always ready to leave. So you'll often find that they'll still be in and around the herd, but they won't be spending lots of time in and amongst the herd. So like this elephant bull, they'll stay a little distance away from one another, but he just feels a lot safer when he is around other elephants. And I'm sure at some point he'll find another male and they might then move off and form a little bachelor herd. Always much nicer to be in a small little herd than to have to wander around by yourself. Let's having a look, see if we are able to maybe spot those Egyptian geese, the goslings. We're gonna leave Jamala. Let's head over to Juma and have a look, see if there's anything around the water there. So there isn't anything that we know of around the water here at Juma, but we're still gonna just take it nice and slow and see if we can scan and find anything. You never know what's around the corner. Does seem like the wind is picking up at Juma, so you also saw that there was quite a lot of cloud cover. Maybe the wind is bringing those clouds. Might be some scattered afternoon thunder showers. And always counts on a blacksmith lapwing around the waterhole. Either a blacksmith lapwing or an Egyptian goose. Always two of the birds that frequent the waterholes. The three-banded plover also, just off to the right-hand side then. It will be quite tough to be able to get onto that three-banded plover just because of the trees that are in the way here, these red bush willows. It is quite tough to focus on this blacksmith lapwing currently feeding. It's because of everything that's moving around it. So we are trying our best. We got to give it one more try. Let's see. Let's see if we can get this right. While we try and focus in on this blacksmith lapwing, why don't we head over to Ukuguyo and see what's happening. So we are now back at Ukuguyo, where there's the same way we started the show. There's some zebras as well as some springbuck off to the right-hand side. A lot of people always ask what the difference might be, or how to tell the difference between male and female springbucks, because they both do have horns. And the easiest way to tell, it is still quite difficult, but the males are, the horns are much longer and much thicker compared to the females. They are very similar in body size, so that's quite a tough way to distinguish which one is bigger. But if you look at the horns, you can often see that the males are much thicker and much longer compared to the females. And one of the main reasons being, I mean, those females aren't going to necessarily need to fight fight any other springbucks, whereas the males will often fight for mating rights and things like that. So it is now coming up to 12:30, where we introduce all our other locations. And just a shout out to Africams for coming on board to join WildEarth and opening up all those different locations. We all do appreciate it a lot, and having all the diversity that we do. So thanks once again, Africams.